Not sure which automation tool is right for you, whether you are entrepreneur, developer, or beginner. If you are building automation for client, this video is for you. I am going to break down most popular automation tool like Zapier, Make.com, n8n, and Flowise based on their features, pricing, and most importantly, licensing. It seems there is a huge gap in understanding how licensing works, and I want to clear that up. I will answer specific questions such as what does free actually means? Can you legally build and deploy application for clients? And whether do you need commercial license or not? So if you are planning to use these applications or tools for yourself or others, this will help you to make a right choice and stay compliant. So let's get started. Okay, so I have written this blog which explains which automation tool is best for you. In this particular blog, I am comparing 4 different tools, which is Zapier, Make.com, n8n, and FlowiseAI. Although the FlowiseAI, it's not automation tool, it's more for AI workflows. But I figure that majority of people are going to get into AI workflows sooner or later. So this might be better choice to put it as part of the list as well. Okay, so let's look into the features. So when it comes to hosting, Zapier and Make.com has only cloud-based platform available. There is no community-based self-hosted version available. When it comes to n8n and FlowiseAI, they both has self-hosted community version and they also have a cloud version as well. When it comes to UI, all 4 are somewhat similar, but they have given the specific names, so I have mentioned it here as well. So custom code means can you do a custom programming on top of whatever plugins or modules are available. So when it comes to Zapier, it's very limited, but Make.com, FlowiseAI, and n8n all 3 has custom code available. So you can do custom functionality with JavaScript majority of time, but within the Flowise and n8n, now they have Python module included as well. When it comes to AI integration, they all have somewhat AI integration available, but it's somewhat limited when it comes to Zapier and Make.com, where n8n and Flowise are more popular when it comes to AI integration. So webhook and APIs, when it comes to Zapier, it's very limited. It does not include it inside a free version. So you need to get premium version in order to access webhooks. When it comes to Make.com, n8n, and FlowiseAI, all 3 of them has somewhat webhook and API support included. When it comes to custom database or vector database, which is very popular when it comes to AI application, Zapier does not include that. But when it comes to n8n, as of now, they have somewhat native support of vector database included, and some of the community nodes are also available when it comes to vector database. And RAG application, again, if you are creating any kind of RAG application, you should go with n8n and FlowiseAI because they natively support RAG application, where Zapier and Make has very limited support. So basically it's by APIs, they does not include inbuilt plugin for that. So let's look into the pricing really quick. For Zapier, they only provide 100 tasks a month within the free plan. For beginners, it's more than okay, but if you are pro, then most likely you should switch to pro plan or teams plan. For enterprise pricing, you only need it when you are selling software as a service, or if you need a specific thing such as SSO and shared workspaces. Again, it's included in Teams plan, but there are certain features which is only allowed under the enterprise licensing. Okay, we'll see that in a moment. So let's look into Make.com. Make.com provides 1000 operations a month, which is way better compared to a Zapier. But there is a problem here, 15-minute interval. What does it mean? That once you run an operation or once you run a task, you have to wait 15 minutes to run any other task. So it might not be feasible for some of the users. They have different plan, core plan. Again, it has everything included, the free plan, plus you have unlimited operations, unlimited active scenarios. You have pro plans, you have team plan, and there is also an enterprise plan which is not provided as part of the Make.com paid plans. You have to get a custom quotation for that. Again, it has very similar conditions. You cannot sell software as a service. When it comes to any of this plan, you have to get an enterprise license. So now let's look into n8n. So n8n has a free software which is self-hosted core plan. So you can download it from GitHub and host it on your personal machine, host it on your VPS, or host it on any other cloud provider, which will not cost you anything except the hosting fees. If you want to go with their official plan, which will start at 20 bucks a month, and they also have enterprise plan, which is very costly. You only need the enterprise plan when you want to sell software as a service, or you need certain features which are not part of their cloud or which are not part of their self-hosted community version. So their actual license, it comes under fair code, and they're calling it as a sustainable use license. That means that you cannot host n8n and charge client money for it. What instead you can do, client have to pay for their hosting. So either they can self-host it or they can host it on cloud, and then you can charge money to build them a workflow. That's legal way to do it. Otherwise, you have to go for enterprise license, where you can provide software as a service and there are certain features associated with it. For Flowise, again, there is an self-hosted community version available, but they are providing a free plan on their website where you don't need to host anything. You can just log in with your Google account or any other account and you get 2 flows and 100 prediction a month. You can also go with starter or pro plan, which is included as part of their pricing. So their license fall under Apache 2.0, where you can use this particular tool for clients. You can use it for anything, just you cannot white label it. That means if you are creating chatbot with FlowiseAI, it will be written FlowiseAI at bottom. So you cannot change that. That means white labeling with your own licensing, right? So you cannot do that. Otherwise, it's free to use it. You can host it for client, you can host it for yourself. There is no additional charge for that, but again, it will have FlowiseAI written on that particular tool somewhere. So let's look into $1,000 question. Can you use this tool for clients or not? Short answer, yes, you can use it. Long answer, let's look into the details. So first one, we'll be looking at Zapier and Make.com. Since they both are cloud-based platform, they both have somewhat similar functionalities. So there are two ways you can actually go with. First one, it's client will be using their own account and they will give you access as an collaborator or admin. Then you will be creating workflow for them as an independent contractor or as an employee. Second way would be you will be having your own account as an agency, okay? And then you will be providing services to those company under Teams or Enterprise plan, okay? And emphasize on Teams or Enterprise because you need to have that particular license in order to work with your own account and selling it as a service. So there are certain things you have to consider. There are always pros and cons for doing that. Responsibilities, that if you are doing work as your own agency and if you are providing services to client, any kind of downtime you have, that means that if anything goes wrong, your workflows are not working, or if client lose the data, most likely you are the liable and you will have to pay hefty fees to the client in one way or another, or they can sue you in worst case scenario. Another thing, any legal action or any contract related issue you have with client, you have to face them. There is no alternative of that. What you need to consider when you are handling sensitive data, you always need to make sure you have these particular features on, such as SSO, which is single sign-on, audit logs, and admin console, which are typically not available within any of the free or pro plan. You have to either go with Teams or you have to go with Enterprise plan, okay? And we are talking about specifically Zapier and Make.com. So what would be the best practice? You should have some kind of agreement with your client, what they are looking for. There should be a clear transparency, and there should be agreement which mitigate all the liabilities on your end and on client's end as well. Why you want to do that? Because if anything goes wrong, and sometimes things can go wrong, if you are liable, then sometime you may go bankrupt as well, because client can sue you and the whole thing goes to the court, and it is a long process. You don't want to get into that. So you also always have a transparent agreement which state what you are doing with their data and how you are dealing with their data. The better way would be client should have their own account, they are liable for everything, and you are working it as an independent contractor under client's account, okay? That's the best way to go if you are going on a smaller scale. So now let's look into n8n. So n8n comes under fair code license. That simply means that they have a self-hosted or community-based version available, which you can use it, but you cannot charge client for that particular account. So you can self-post n8n account for client on VPS, but client should be paying for the hosting, client should be paying for everything. And again, that money should not come to your bank account by any means. So anything they are hosting, they are liable, you are not liable for that. So they should create their own account and they give you the access of that account in simple manners. You can always charge for setup, maintenance and workflow development, but you cannot charge for hosting. Another thing to consider when you are dealing with n8n, you cannot provide SaaS or software as a service such as every other platform as well. You strictly need a commercial license. You can self-host one deployment per client. So simply you can say, like, you can provide a link to some VPS where like they just click on simple click and they just deploy the n8n server. I think Hostinger has somewhat better option, or client can host it on their computers and it's a self-hosted service. It's not exposed to public internet. That's another way to go as well. But their license strictly says that you cannot sell software as a service. So let's say if you are creating some good software which provide some kind of benefit to users or customers, you cannot charge for that directly. If you are doing so and if they find out, you have to pay for licensing, or they might give you penalty as well, which you have to pay eventually. So again, that comes under a legal matter, so you don't want to get into that as well. You cannot white label or resell. That simply means that if you are self-hosting n8n license, you cannot host it as your own instant and say that, okay, I have an automation platform which you can use it. So it's not allowed. So FlowiseAI is slightly different, and the only reason I have included FlowiseAI within this workflow because it's somewhat better if you just want to deploy an AI chatbot or AI workflow. So there is a self-host version available. You can just self-host it by yourself. What you cannot do, you cannot sell white label version of it. So you, like, technically, since it's a self-hosted community version, you can go into code and change all the photos of FlowiseAI to something else, such as your company's logo, but it's not allowed. And if they find it out, then you might get hefty licensing fees for that and penalty as well. So you should not do that. The safest way to go for n8n and Flowise would be self-hosting the account for client. And again, client should pay for every single penny for self-hosting. And you should be only charging for workflow you create or any kind of maintenance you do. So those things are allowed under their like licenses. So for n8n, it's fair code license, and for FlowiseAI, it's open source Apache 2.0 license. So these are the things you need to consider when you are dealing with n8n or Flowise. So which tool you should be using? Okay, so if you are just a beginner and if you are just starting out, Zapier would be a better choice because it has like pre-built applications. You just need to log in and it just works out of the box. There are some disadvantages as well. If you are using Zapier, it does not include everything as part of their free plan, so you might need to pay for their plans as well. But if you are going with the beginner approach, Zapier would be a better choice. If you are going with somewhat intermediate approach, make.com will be an excellent choice because it's way better than Zapier in majority of context. It has better workflows. Again, it's simple to use, but it has somewhat more workflows than Zapier. For power users who wants to deal with everything, which includes automation and AI workflow as well, you should be using n8n because it has all of the things included as part of their application. Okay, so you can self-host n8n. It has no added cost to it. The only thing to remember, if you are selling n8n as a service in any point of time, you have to get an enterprise license, which can cost up to like few $1,000s. So I have seen some Reddit comments. Okay, I have talked to some users as well. I didn't personally get a quote, but as of last year, someone got a quote for working 10 workflows as an enterprise license, and they were paying almost like $20,000 a year. Okay, so 20,000 USD a year, which is a lot of money. And unless you have like lot of clients or some client who is paying hefty fees, you should not go for that particular part, right? So you can just self-host it and you can just get away with that. Again, if you are in AI, you should go with Flowise or n8n. Both has at this point great workflows. I am personally using both, but you can either go with n8n or you can go with Flowise if you just want to create a RAG application, or if you just want to deal with a basic chatbot. This should be the best option as of now. And that's everything from my side. It's been long time I've posted a video. It's been almost like more than 2 weeks. I've been busy with few things, but I'll surely post more frequent videos. So stay tuned and see you in the next videos.